Hello. It's some dust or something. I'm here today to talk about the Barsboldia in Path of Titans. This is a showcase that I originally did a long time ago, and I think a rework is long overdue because a lot in the game has changed, and specifically, the climate of apexes around the Barsboldia has changed pretty drastically. This is a dinosaur that you could legitimately make a case is the strongest apex in the game, or in other words, in the official game, the Barsboldia is the strongest playable you can possibly have. And I think the case, that I'm making there is actually really strong. They all kind of have their ups and downs, but objectively, the Barsboldia is working with a toolkit that no other dinosaur even comes close to having. And yet I don't see these things. I very, very rarely ever see Barsboldia, and I don't know if that's because people don't know how awesome they are or they prefer something a little more showy. But to be honest with you, I almost get the feeling that the dev team is begging people to play this thing more, just going by the tricks that it has, the things it can do, because it's kind of busted. I'm going to get into it in just a second, but this thing is legitimately really, really good, and I'm excited to talk about it with you. So stick around, and we're going to get into everything you need to know about the Barsboldia in Path of Titans. So the first thing I want to touch on with the Barsboldia is the stats. This is the bulkiest thing in the game, and if you played for a while, you probably know that, but you may not know to what extent, because it's almost comedic how much bulkier this thing is than everything else. We'll start with the health. The second highest health in the game is 1,000. That is held by Deinonychus and Spinosaurus. Do you want to guess, real quick, think of a number in your head what the health of the Barsboldia is? Is it 1,200? Is it 1,400? No, it's 1,500. It is 1,500 HP. 50% more than the second highest HP in the official roster. That is ridiculous, but it doesn't end there. Now let's move on to combat weight. If you're unaware, combat weight dictates how much damage you do and how much damage you take. For example, if you're bigger than another dino, then they are going to do less damage to you and you are going to do more to them. Okay? The Barsboldia has 7,000 combat weight. The second place for combat weight is 6,500. Again, it is 500 points higher. That means everything in the game is going to be doing less damage to you, and you are going to be doing less or more damage to them. But it doesn't even end there. We're talking about apexes, right? So you would think, okay, this thing is the bulkiest by a country mile. Surely it's not that fast. It is the fastest sprint out of all the apexes. This is a defense subspecies Barsboldia. This isn't even a default or a speed Barsboldia. This is a defense species Barsboldia, and its base sprint speed is 50 points higher than any of the other apexes. That is unbelievable, and its drain is the same as the other apexes. Okay, so it has 50% more health. It has 500 more combat weight. Its sprint speed is 50 points higher than the second fastest apex, and its stamina drain is the same as the other apexes. What? What? How is this thing not everywhere? How do I never see I think they look cool enough. Are they that bad looking? I don't get it. So the only thing the Bars falls behind on is swimming. Its swimming speed sucks, but other than that, this thing is leading the pack, and its attacks aren't even bad either. Now that we've kind of gone into the stats of this thing, let's look at the kit here. Now the first thing you're going to notice is there's a lot of blank spaces in the kit, and these are things that are probably coming to the game at some point in the future. On the head, you have the headbutt. Quick headbutt attack can be used while running. Sorry, I can't English. I'm so excited about this thing. can be used while running, and this does very solid damage, more damage than most of the bites in the game. The senses, front limb, there's nothing there. For metabolism, you can run herbivore, forager, standard fare. On hide, you have resilient scales, increases bleed and venom healing by 30%. Nothing on the legs. On the back limb, you do get long distance runner, which helps with that stamina that was already fine. You know, compared to the other Apexes. You're going to hear me compare it to the other Apexes because nothing else is even moderately close. I mean, at speed, obviously you're slow because you're an Apex, but you're the fastest Apex, and you get long distance runner, even though your stamina is fine, so that's cool. And then you get 2 tail slots because your tail is your big weapon. You get the normal tail attack and tail slam. Dude, tail slam. All right, the head, you know, the headbutt and the tail attack, they do okay damage. The tail slam does unreal damage. This thing hits like an absolute truck. I've used that phrase verbatim in my previous video, and it still stands, except it's stronger now because it no longer takes stamina. I can do that all day long. It has a longer cooldown, I think. So what was that? That was like 4 or 5 seconds. It has a longer cooldown, but it doesn't take stamina, so why does it matter? And the last thing is your voice. You do get the rallying call. Bro, when it says increases the defense of all party members within 3 meters for 1 minute, what it means to say is 1.5 times your defense. Not just you, your party members within 30 meters for a whole minute. So, you already had, what did I say, 50% more HP than the second highest HP in the official roster, and you had 500 more combat weight than the second highest combat weight in the official roster, but you also have this. Sorry, that was the wrong button, kind of took away from the moment. You also have this. And that little icon above my abilities, that means my defense is 1.5 times now. So, in other words, you are the tankiest thing in the game, bar none, by a long country mile. Nobody's close. And you can run double defense if you want to be mean like I do, but you can run speed, which is also viable, because even if you do run speed, your HP is still going to be the highest, your combat weight's still going to be the highest, and you have the highest speed of the Apexes. I chose defense to really layer it on, but there's no wrong subspecies to pick for this thing. It's just unreal. If we talk about matchups, the only thing that could get you into hot water is the Rex, but the Rex, not only is it considerably lighter than you, its HP is only 800 now. Like, so its attacks are going to be doing less, and it can take less of a beating. The biggest thing I need to point out here is the competition. The nerfs to the other Apexes. Barsboldia has been buffed, if anything, by the recent updates, but a lot of the other Apexes have been nerfed considerably through their combat weight and through their HP. For example, Rex used to have 1000 HP, used to have the same combat weight as a Barsboldia, now it's 800 HP and less combat weight. The Spinosaurus, 1000 HP, and used to have the same combat weight as the Barsboldia, now it is 500 less. So you are looking really good. I have no idea why nobody plays this thing. I swear to God, I see one of these every once in a blue moon, and I just don't get it. So we've gone over the stats, we've gone over the kit, the matchups. I mean, multiple of another Apex could kill you. 1v1, I cannot think of a single dinosaur 1v1, unless you're like in the water fighting a Spino or something. That's a huge threat to you, especially if you know how to tail kite. Tail kiting is very important for the Barsboldia, because another thing you probably know, but I'm going to explain it anyway in case you don't. The Barsboldia has a really long tail, and 2 of those attack slots are for the tail, obviously. And by tail kiting, or in other words, keeping something behind you so that they're biting your tail and you're hitting their head, the hitboxes are different. You take less damage to your tail, and you take more damage to your head, unless you're something like an Eotrike or a Ceratopsian. So, by tail kiting with the Barsboldia, not only do you have your natural bulk, which is out of this world high, but now you're taking reduced damage because they're hitting your tail, and you are hitting them in the head, doing more damage with that frankly insane attack on your tail slam, or even your regular tail attack. If you want the shorter cooldown, that's fine too. That tail slam used to take stamina, it doesn't anymore. Like, it was kind of passively buffed when everything around it was nerfed, but that's just a straight up buff. That thing used to take stamina. It doesn't anymore. You're just fine. So with matchups, you don't have much to worry about unless it's a huge group, or I don't know, if a Rex bone breaks you and gets around on your head, you know, it can do some pretty catastrophic damage in a short time. But for the most part, I think you just got such an advantage. Like, the margin between you and second place is not a little one. Like, frankly, it's insane to me. Okay. Talked about matchups, the kit, the stats. Let's get into the calls and animations, starting, of course, with the broadcast. Next up, we have the heart call, the aggro, the alert, the low call, and for animations, you have a shake it off. Plus, you get jiggle physics on the little dewlap thing under its neck. A stretch. And a scratch. We're talking about skins on this thing. This is where it might lose some love. Now, this is a female, so remember, her skins aren't going to be as vibrant as the males. But here's your default, which honestly I don't think is that bad. It's like the color scheme of a Gila monster. It's pretty cool. Longhorn. This is a very popular skin, and part of the reason why this thing gets called the cow. You got Zebra, Tan, Rowan, Midnight, Freckled, Marble, which is a personal favorite of mine, especially this one with the eye track. Really like that. Bush, Bison, Albino, Melanistic, and Backer, which honestly isn't a bad Backer skin either. So that about does it for the Barsboldia and Path of Titans. I really don't get it. My brain is broken. If any of you can explain to me why I don't see this thing anywhere, despite the fact that it has like a complete landslide over the other dinosaurs in terms of bulk, with high attack, you know, just the speed isn't even bad. It just doesn't make sense to me. These things should be crawling all over the place, but they're not. So maybe this will convince someone to get back on their bars, you know, pull it off the shelf and blow the dust off of it, give it a shot, and realize that by everything else getting nerfed, you are now insanely OP, in my opinion anyway. Who am I? I'm just some dust or something. It doesn't matter. But thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was educational, informal, entertaining, any of the above. Most of all, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, have a great day.